10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, it's a player's perspective. Come on in. This is the best Yellow Jacket sports talk in the nation with your boy T Cove and my man over here to my right, my man K Solo.
What's going on, fella?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good,
man.
Good.
I'm just anxious to get going, man. I mean, all this laying, and you know, we don't have to come to our folks a day later. Then we gotta start a little later, but
yeah.
It's time to get this thing going, brother.
Yeah, it's time to get it on the road, get the show on the road, and get going. It's March Madness out here. Trying to make sure that we are, all inclusive with everything. And
there you go.
Trying to do some good stuff. And I tell you what, man.
What's up?
It's March Madness, and I'm mad.
Yeah, you're mad. Oh no, what's up with that?
I'm upset.
What's going on?
Because when I looked at my bracket, man,
it's already busted.
It's not that it's already busted. I didn't see my team on the bracket.
Man, tell me about it. Now, hold on now. There's like 90. No. Let's see. Yeah, there's like 96 teams between the NCAA and the NIT. So you checked the NCAA.
Yeah, I checked that one.
You checked that one too.
I checked that one too.
And then you checked the NIT.
And the NIT.
So what happened on the NIT? Because, we got to be on there on the NIT. Was your team in there too?
My team not in there either.
What?
No.
Come on, brother. Come on now.
My team's not in there.
Now, you're not talking about the LGT, are you?
I am talking about the GT that I represent, the one that I love.
Hold on, man. I thought I saw a name somewhere in there. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, that says 2017.
2017?
Yeah, that was 2017.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ken, what's up with that, man?
That's all I can say. I'm kind of torn between, and I have a question for all of our fans. Thank everybody for joining in with us, and
absolutely,
and all that good stuff. But we do have questions for you.
Yeah,
we are at our new digs, our new facilities.
Tell them about it, Ken. Tell them about it.
Seven Springs Studio, right here in the beautiful Powder Springs.
That's right,
Georgia.
With our engineer Kim Jackson behind the board.
Mr. Kim Jackson behind the board doing his thing.
Yes, sir.
Making magic happen.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so, we kind of trying to do something a little different for 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my jacket basketball to do a little something different.
You just want your jacket basketball back.
I want it back. And
baby, come back. Please put it back on me. We were strong in 1990. What's up with that, dog? Come on, man. Can we get this right?
I'll tell you what, man. It's been crazy to kind of watch the program just be on this 15 to almost 20-year slide.
Yeah.
Where we have seen it. We were there when it was successful and when everything was going on, and when all the stuff that was happening was good, great, and and everybody was loving Georgia Tech basketball.
Right.
It was a reason to tune in. It was a reason to watch. I remember growing up watching Dwayne Farrell and those guys play, Yvonne Josephs, Mark Price,
John Sally,
and all those guys. They were must-see TV.
They sure was, brother.
And so from a little kid from Decorah, Georgia, whose cousin was already involved with Georgia Tech and came to Georgia Tech.
Right.
It was still exciting to watch.
Yeah.
And being at my high school or being in wherever playing ball, you wanted to be, and you wanted to emulate the guys that you were seeing on that college level. So that was one of those things where it's one of those things right now where I have to question and I have to ask the question, and you feel free, you out there on Facebook, if you're looking at us right now, feel free to chime in. I want to ask this question of you, Tommy.
Yeah.
Is Georgia Tech basketball dead? And that's I know that's a real hard line stance to take from guys that love the Institute, from guys that love what we represent. But is it dead? Should we move on from thinking that it's going to resuscitate and come back and be a viable option for us, or should we just move on and forget about it and just be all football and not worry about basketball anymore?
That's my answer, Ken. We have yet to flatline.
Okay.
But, brother, we are close.
Yes.
And I say that because there's too much going on in the wrong direction. Right. It's just too much going on that's not righting the ship.
Right.
We have a whole entire series where our problem this year was shooting. Ken, I think if I was looking at the numbers correctly, just scoring, 5 more points this year could have put us in another bracket.
Right.
Averaging is what I'm saying.
Right. Uh-huh.
We played. What we showed was that we were doing well on defense. So hey, kudos to coach so far as coaching us up for defense, doing a great job with that. That caused a lot of teams problems this year, and it kept us in games. But the problem was on the offensive side of shooting. We've talked about this on the football side.
Right. Right.
How do you throw so well in college and then get to college and you can't throw?
Oh, you're saying in high school? In
high school, yeah. And you can't throw. Now you shoot the daylights out of stuff in high school and you get to college and you can't shoot. Right. It's one of those challenges that we often see that is it's mind-boggling. It's something that you just don't understand, but you also see in this scenario a lot of excuses popped up.
Right.
Okay, with Josh Okogie going pro. Okay, so we heard it throughout the entire season, basically, because we didn't know he was leaving, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So just coming at it from a player's perspective, which means that right here you're going to get it straight, you're going to get it real. You can't have a successful program where one person leaves and then you basically just want to shut it all down.
Right, exactly.
You just can't have a program where the next guy up hasn't been sitting there biting at the bit, ready to go in there and shine.
Right.
Because he, and the only reason why he couldn't is because Okogie was in front of him. Right? So now that he's gone, he should have been happy, ready to go. Let's get in there and make this thing happen. But there's a lot of things so far as the communication. We've heard Coach Pastner talking on his show and everything else and giving all this terminology about the stops and the different things that we want to go. But we're just talking about hitting and shooting the ball and letting it go through the hoop.
Right.
And that was the biggest challenge that we had this year.
Right. And I see some people with questions. My good friend Anthony Neal writes in and he says, it's tough. It'll be tough to recover or come back in a conference as tough as the ACC.
Oh, wow.
And that's a very true statement because we are right on the cusp of, being at the bottom every year.
The ACC was struggling for a little bit as a decline because you started to see the SEC start to come up in the Big Ten.
Right.
But now what you're seeing is that it's starting to surge ahead.
It's starting to surge ahead, but it's still surging ahead with the two mainstays that's always been there with Duke and North Carolina.
Right.
And you've added Virginia and Virginia Tech, and you see Florida State has been good.
Right.
For a little while now. So that's a problem.
It is a problem.
It is a problem from a Georgia Tech's perspective. Because you asked a question, and there was another question I asked. I forget who it was. Miss Colleen Campbell asked the question: are we just missing one good ball player?
No.
Are we just missing one guy, one marquee guy?
No.
And I would say we have not got that marquee guy in our system at all. And Okogie was a great find and a great ball player.
Right.
And but he was not necessarily the marquee guy.
Right.
He was good for Georgia Tech, and he was good he meant a lot to us. But he was not necessarily that game changer or that marquee guy that's going to carry a program or going to do the things that are necessary. And and that's been my whole problem, Tommy.
Yeah.
With the whole situation, recruiting wise.
Exactly.
As much talent as we see around the country, in different in other colleges,
right,
that are not Georgia Tech.
Exactly.
Where the talent is coming from this great state.
Exactly.
You know, so you see that happening, and it's kind of frustrating.
Well, I mean, you know, if you're 24 years young, 24 years old and younger, you know a little bit about the Kenny Andersons,
right,
the Dennis Scotts, you know, that kind of thing. You know the little history that's going on over there, the Carl Browns. You know, you got a chance to see the Marburys and all that kind of stuff happening over here in the ATL. So at one time, we were kind of point guard you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mark Price going back in those days,
right.
Okay, seeing that kind of stuff happening. Jared Jack. Okay. So to think that we struggle now to get a point guard.
Yes.
Is unfathomable. To think now, okay, you're looking at people, you know, Lammers just left us, okay, and great big guy down there. But, of course, you know, a little bit more height with him would have been perfect. But you got Banks that's coming in, is proven to be a great defensive guy.
Right.
But not that big on scoring. He's come on late in the second half and doing some good job. But you need a force down there.
Right, exactly.
Both on offense and defense, okay? So right now, the way it looks, I mean, even with some of the guys that have really stepped up, DeVoe did a great job coming out in the middle of the season. Because I think even we can go back to one of our previous shows, Ken, it looked like for a lot of the young guys, they were afraid to shoot. Yeah. They were afraid to be a little assertive on the offensive side. So they came along a little bit. So it's kind of like, okay, that's hopeful going into the future that these may be some guys that step up in the next couple of years. But you really need about 2 or 3 guys. You're going to need about 2 or 3 good players right now.
Right.
Because you need those players to be scorers on. If you're watching March Madness right now, that's pretty much the MO for every team that you're looking out there. You got about 2 or 3 good guys out of those 5 that are productive, okay, on that offensive side of the ball. Right now, I would say with Tech is that we just don't have that right now, and we got to get something that's going to have to jump off because both with a big man down low, a good point guard that can show productivity day in and day out on the court, and then a good 2. And a good 3, somebody over there that can shoot that rock.
Right.
You know, I mean, good Lord.
Tommy, you just named the whole squad.
I did, but that's kind of what you see.
You're right.
You know, because now we shot a lot of 3-pointers this year, and I mean, and they want us to be 3-pointers. That's what I heard. They wanted us to be a 3-point percentage, high percentage type team, but we didn't have any shooters.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and Tommy, it's hard. We're not bashing Georgia Tech. We're not bashing the basketball team. We're just having an honest conversation.
We are vested. This is family. You know.
That's how we talk.
Ain't nobody gonna love my Jackets more than you. Talk bad about them, and you ain't a Georgia Tech. I'm gonna fight you.
Right.
But it's one of those things. You know what I'm saying?
And we have to have that honest, real conversation with ourselves.
And it's postseason.
Right. Exactly. It's postseason
now,
and we're not in it.
And we're not in it.
And we're not even the third best team. We might be the 4th or 5th best team in our state.
Yeah. Now that's down.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where you got to kind of,
That's where you got, when I look at what Georgia State is doing, and kudos to them, kudos to Coach Ron Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know that there was opportunity for us to get Ron Hunter before we hired Coach Pastner.
Yep.
And, you know, he's a guy that I've always liked his energy, always liked to see him on the sideline, always like to hear his interviews.
Yeah,
he's just full of energy.
Yeah,
and his energy seems to be very, very focused and directed into his young people. It's one thing to be energetic.
It is,
and you got to have energy. You got to have that kind of vibe with young people to really to draw them in.
You do,
but you just can't be phonetic and all over the place with energy.
Well, that's the thing, Ken, and you and I have heard that all the time. You can't just talk the talk. You got to walk the walk.
You got to walk the walk.
And so what we are not even seeing is we don't have anybody in the queue. Who's in the queue?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To be picked next, to say he's going to be the next Georgia Tech person. We see it going on all the time in the football aspect of things. See it going on in the baseball arena of what's happening out there. Matter of fact, if you kind of look across the board in tennis and softball and everything else, those that are next big time players are on the dock.
Right.
And then they're going after them and getting them. I don't even see anybody on the radar.
Yeah, and that's the disheartening thing about it. Hopefully the energy that is being created with this football season, off season, can drift over into the basketball arena and can cause some stirring to take about.
It's going to have to, Ken.
I think we have to change our outlook about how we recruit.
Yes.
And what type of athlete we're recruiting and all that good stuff, and not be afraid to go after that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing. I know we always get back to football, but that's one thing that we see about Coach Collins at this moment. He came in with a purpose plan, and he is executing it to the hilt.
Right.
With what his vision was, how he wanted to rebrand Georgia Tech. His thought about the athlete that could come to Georgia Tech.
Right.
That all are welcome. All can come. Anybody can get here. That can get here.
Yeah.
And so he is that guy that has a central message, and you can tell his message is being disseminated. Number one, from his staff.
Right.
Down to his ball players.
Right. And
it is coming out to us through the media.
That's right.
And we have a feeling that we almost know on a day-to-day basis. No, I'm not at Georgia Tech every day, but I feel like the positivity that is coming, that is radiating from North Avenue at this moment, has been none like we've seen before.
It's a glow in the dark.
There you go.
That's for sure. You turn out all the lights over there, and then right now, over that football stadium over there, Bobby Dodd, it's a glow in the dark.
Yeah.
Now, Bobby Dodd, just real quick out there, Bobby Dodd Jr. passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, so we want to give our condolences to the family.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely for that. And it's going to be sorely missed. And, of course, if you're talking about legendary,
right,
legacy going on there.
There you go.
But we're just sorry to hear about that. And check on either your Twitter or on RamblingWreck.com for details. I know they're not going to have a funeral,
right?
But they asked for contributions to go to the Bobby Dodd Institute. Okay. So, but we just want to take a moment out for that. But getting back to this, to football, to basketball, and to me, it could be, like you said, now you got to have a shift in the way that you go about things.
Right.
What you used to say, it hasn't worked. You got to change what you say.
Right.
What you used to market, it doesn't really quite work. You got to change your marketing. So there's going to be some things that they're going to have to fuse and to tap into for what's happening now on the flats to transfer that to Crimmins Court.
Right.
And with. It's just amazing when you just say these things, you know what I'm saying? Coach Crimmins, and you just downtown Atlanta. And how is it that we're not hot? How is it that we don't have a squad? I just don't understand this.
That was one of the main reasons I loved being at Georgia Tech during the time we were at Georgia Tech. I was sitting in the arena, in the Thriller Dome, the night Dennis Scott stole the ball in the corner against North Carolina.
Yeah.
And the whole building went in an animated suspension as the ball left his fingers, and it was nothing but butter when it went through.
Man, fast break. Give it to Dennis at half court. 3 steps later, he letting it go. Nobody in front of him. He's letting it go, brother, and nothing but the bottom of the net.
Yeah, and that's stuff that's stuff of legend that we know about.
Exactly.
That we lived and were right there. Saw Bobby Hurley get worked out. Kenny Anderson worked him.
That's all you heard.
That's it.
Come on.
And that was just one of those things that we want that to return. We want that type of fire to return, that type of athlete to return back to the flats. Because quiet as it kept, it was not a football school when I came.
No, it wasn't.
When we came.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a football school. The basketball team ruled the roost of the campus.
Absolutely.
And that was what it was. But things have changed, and we want it to, not that we want football to take a back seat or anything like that, because it's not. But we want basketball to return back to what it was, and we want to be a part of that. So, you know.
Well, Kenny, I mean, Lord have mercy. Well, basically, what you're looking at right now is a scenario that everybody that's on the team right now, this whole roster, okay, and I'm gonna go through, you know, Michael DeVoe, James Banks, okay. Shambari Phillips, okay, Mr. Cole, Mr. Alston, okay, Mr. Alvarado, okay, Mr. Moore, Haywood, Mr. Moses Wright, okay. They got to become awesome recruiters.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
They have to become awesome recruiters.
Yeah, but you know, Tommy, it's hard, and we've been through this. When you're losing,
yes.
It's hard to maintain that focus, and you want to look at a recruit in the eye and not lie to him.
That's right.
Because you can tell a guy to come to a place to make it better.
Yeah.
And that's not lying to him.
That's right.
That's not lying to him at all.
At all.
So you know, because we need your help.
We need you here.
We need you here.
That's right.
And I remember, you know, that first season when Coach Ross was here, and you guys had went 2-9, 2-9 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Came back. My freshman year, we went 3-8.
Right.
And you know, quiet as it kept, I called my mama. I think I told this story before.
Oh yeah. Tell it again though.
I called my mama and said, "Hey, mama,
yeah.
Look,
this ain't it.
This ain't it. I can't do this. I'm not used to losing like this. I want to go to Alabama. You know, Alabama was recruiting me hard, and it was a real close decision. I said, man, I want to go to Alabama. I'm just gonna call Coach Curry and tell him I want to come. She said, son, you're not doing that. Not in this lifetime. You gave these people your word that you were going to do this and you were going to do that. And I started looking in the mirror. I was like, Mama, you know what? You're right.
You're right.
She was like, well, you there, and if you such a winner, if you say you all that you say you are,
shout outs to Mom Swilling. That's right.
All that you think you are, then it should be infectious.
That's right.
When it should become second nature to you guys. And luckily, thankfully, prayerfully, it did.
It did. Because there was some tough times there. Woo! But I tell you what, too, it galvanized us a little bit. Yeah. Because at the same time, when you looked at all of that was going on, you saw where the negative was. You saw the cancer, and all we did was start scraping that stuff away. Just start scraping it away. Right. And we started infusing that positivity, that mental attitude that we needed to get out there and to become winners.
And that's the thing, Tommy, you know, trying not to be negative during this time.
Right. That's right.
That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Probably it is. To not to be negative when negative stuff is happening.
There's negative stuff is happening. That's right. That's right.
You know,
because coming from a player's perspective, we're gonna be real with each other.
Right. Exactly.
And a lot of times we're gonna say things that are gonna make us want to fight. It's going to make us want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's what brings us together. Eventually what brings us together, we fight out there in the afternoon, and at nighttime, we sitting there playing video games together.
Right, exactly.
Or sharing a meal together.
Right,
we just, it's bygones, big bygones. Well, this is that tough talk, that tough love.
Right.
That's all we're giving them right now from a player's perspective, right here at Seven Springs Stadium. Right here in the stadium with Seven Springs Studio. That's right. We're gonna bring it to them. We're gonna bring it to them live and correct, Ken. And so right now, if you're mad at us, good, because that's nothing but love that we're sending out to y'all.
Right.
Because we need you to step up next year. We need you to get better. We need y'all to start putting the ball in the hoop and start doing some things on defense like you did this year, but even better. Because we got to turn this thing around down there. I mean, it's a McCamish Stadium. Pavilion down there, okay? Right. I want to call everything a stadium today, but McCamish Pavilion, beautiful setting.
Right.
Beautiful renovations that went on down there. And shout out to Draper and Associates, my former employers. They actually were project managers on that. But you look at all of the results that are going on, the beautiful setting, and everything is set up for them.
Right.
So now we just got to get the players. And then people in Atlanta, they love basketball.
They love basketball and are clamoring for Georgia Tech to be something.
Because they just want to walk across the street and go into a game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That Midtown is just bustling, and they want to do that. And you can even hear them on different radio stations, everything everything else, they miss it.
Right.
They miss it. And so we just have to bring that back over there. And so I think it starts, like I said, these guys got to become awesome recruiters.
Right.
Pastner's got to start speaking the language, because that's something else we were talking about off radio, is that, is what he's speaking, are people hearing? That's the question.
I mean, and that's a very valid, very honest question.
Yeah.
Is the message lost?
Right.
Has he begun to just ramble?
Yeah.
Because we both been in places and been in a locker room,
right,
and a coach is talking,
yeah,
and you're like, well, I'm having dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, I hear you, but I ain't listening.
I'm not. I hear you talking, but I'm not listening to you.
Right.
I'm not, and it's hard when you're losing.
And when you're losing, yeah,
and it's just the little things, the little attention to detail that can cause you not to win a ball game.
Yeah.
Or the little things that can go missing.
Right.
And I'm a Coach Pastner fan. I like him. I like his energy. I like everything that he brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to question it. Is the message getting through?
That's right.
Is the message getting home? Is it are we at a point where we are, dare I say, at a time when we need another change?
Right. Well, there was something in the Athletic today, and they were talking about how, we've been mired with this bad news and different things going on.
Right,
so, Coach Pastner's dealing with an ex friend that, has got some problems going on and stuff like that. Now, it doesn't come back on him right now. You don't see any of that stuff having any backlash except for the negative press.
Right.
We've had the stuff going on with the suspensions last year.
Right.
Okay. And you've got some stuff even before then, the accusations and stuff like that popped up against Pastner. Knowing the guy, we sat down and talked to this guy and everything else, and we know that he's got some history. He's got some. He's part of a basketball legacy, and he knows what's going on, and he can coach. He just had some great stuff going on over there in Memphis.
Right.
He now has to, I think, just kind of reassess the way that he's going to attack this thing.
Right.
He may have to sit down in a room. Okay, and talk to some people that be maybe Coach Collins, Todd, and I'm sure these conversations are going on.
Right.
But this is just going to have to be to push that reset button and say, what I'm saying, is that what I need to be saying?
Right.
If what I'm doing needs to be doing, how are we supposed to set this up? Maybe we need to reorganize this thing because it has to change now.
Right.
Because if nothing changes in the offseason right now for Pastner, another year like this, and then he's definitely gone.
Right.
Right.
And
just saying that, I like the guy, I like his energy, I like his youth. So just to give him that rah-rah speech for now, because I want you to stay around, that kind of thing, that's what's going to have to happen. Because otherwise, we're going to have to go and find out if we can get somebody else better in here next year.
Well, yeah. Well, we had an opportunity to get somebody I thought that might have been more, maybe not a better coach,